Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing about a very important concept of electric circuit theory, that is concept of resonance. In your syllabus, concept of series resonance and parallel resonance for RLC circuit is there. So today we'll be discussing about concept of series resonance in electric circuits. So before starting resonance, it is much important for us to know or to remember the points which we discussed earlier in AC circuits. That means how voltage and current are related for purely resistive circuit, purely inductive circuit, purely capacitive circuit. Then by combining all those concepts together for RLC series circuit, we can get how RLC series circuit voltage and current behaves. Once this is clear to us, we can move towards the concept of resonance. That is why I've added these slides in such a way that first we'll be studying concept of uh, basic electric circuit for purely resistive, purely inductive, and then purely capacitive circuit. Then we'll combine all those concepts to study RLC circuit. Later, from that RLC circuit, we'll move towards resonance. So these are the topics we'll be covering today. Current through purely resistive, purely inductive, purely capacitive, that is R, L, and C circuits. Then we'll discuss about concept of resonance in series RLC circuit and variation of these parameters with frequency will be discussed. So what is resonance? We'll be talking about resonance later. First, let us discuss what happens for purely resistive circuit. See here we have a resistance in the load and we have a voltage source. Now, as we have only R or resistance in the circuit, this can be considered as purely resistive circuit. Okay. Now, for this purely resistive circuit, when a sinusoidal voltage is applied, a current will start flowing through this path as shown here. Now, by applying simple Ohm's law, what can we write? I equals to VR by R, where VR is voltage across this resistor. So VR is voltage across this resistor, I is the current. So we can relate I and VR by this formula using Ohm's law. So I equals to VR by R. Now if we apply KVL in this entire loop, VR equals to E. That is why we can substitute this VR by Vm sin omega t, and finally we'll get this equation. Clear? Now this highlighted part Vmax by R is magnitude of the current, and sin omega t is the sinusoidal part. It is indicating it's a sine wave. So magnitude or amplitude of the current wave is Vm by R, Vmax by R. So VR is shown here having a higher amplitude compared to IR. IR is shown by blue. Why IR is lesser than VR in amplitude? Because if we consider R is greater than 1, then Vmax by R will be lesser than Vmax. Hence, we'll get this waveform. Now the question is, why voltage and current both are starting at same point, both are getting zero at same time, again both are at positive peak at the same time, both are at negative peak at the same time? Why this is happening? This is because for this supply voltage, the phase angle from this, we can say phase angle is 0 degree. Similarly, this is the current equation in which we can see the phase angle is 0 degree. So both are having same phase angle. So both are having same phase angle means there is no phase difference between voltage and current. So voltage and current will be starting at same point, will be getting maximum at the same time, will get zero voltage and zero current consequently at the same time, all this. So the important concluding point for alternating, when alternating current passes through a purely resistive circuit, is voltage and current should be in phase with each other. So by applying phasor diagram concept, if this is the supply voltage, if this is the supply voltage, then current through the purely resistive circuit will also be in same direction. So direction of supply voltage and direction of current both will be in same direction. There will be no phase angle difference between these two quantities. So this is one concluding point. Okay. Now let us move to next part. Current through purely inductive circuit, that is a circuit consisting only L. Okay. This is Vm sin omega t. Here is I current flowing. Now, if we consider voltage across this inductor is VL, then what can we write? VL equals to L di dt. Okay. Now, VL, by applying KVL, VL equals to Vmax sin omega t. This entire voltage, supply voltage, will appear across inductor. So VL equals to L di dt or equals to Vmax sin omega t. So from this, by integrating both sides, it's a simple integration involving here, we'll get I equals to minus of Vmax by omega L cos omega t. So from this, what can we write? This minus of Vmax by omega L cos omega t can be written as this Vmax by omega L will be here, and this cosine term can be written like this. Okay. Cos omega t can be written as sine of 90 minus omega t. Okay. Now, this minus sign, due to this minus sign, we can make it plus. We can make it plus. That means this minus can be taken inside. This minus, this plus. Now, if we come here, phase angle is 0 degree. Here it is showing phase angle is minus 90 degree. So this is a very important conclusion. I is having a phase angle of minus 90, whereas supply voltage is having phase angle of 0 degree. So this minus 90, what this minus 90 indicates? This minus 90 indicates that the current is lagging behind supply voltage by 90 degree. So what do you mean by lagging behind? Lagging behind means this negative sign shows this negative sign. This negative sign shows that the current I is lagging behind. That means current voltage is ahead of the current, and current is lagging behind the supply voltage by an angle 90 degree. So whenever voltage will start, current will start a bit late. That is an important property of an inductor. As like we all already discussed in previous class, that if you have an inductive load, current through that inductive load will take some time to get its rated current. This is due to this. Due to presence of inductance, current will be lagging behind supply voltage. Okay. So this minus 90 shows, see here. Here voltage started. When voltage is at 0 degree, current is at minus 90 degree. When voltage is at 90 degree, current is at 0 degree. So current voltage is green, current is shown by the blue. So the phase difference between these two is 90 degree. And which one is ahead? Voltage is ahead of current. So VL leads IL by 90 degree for purely inductive circuit. This is an important conclusion. What else? In case of R, Vmax by R, this shows the amplitude of current where R is the resistance. That is, what is resistance? Resistance is the property of a material by which it opposes flow of current. Similarly, see here, I equals to Vmax by omega L, where omega L, this omega L term is acting as resistance. Resistance of what? Resistance of the inductor, which is known as inductive reactance. So it is generally denoted by XL. So XL equals to omega L. It is like resistance of the inductor, which depends on omega. Okay. So for purely inductive circuit, if this is the current, the voltage will lead by 90 degree. Okay. This is phasor diagram for purely inductive circuit. Voltage is leading, current is lagging, and angle of lead is 90 degree. Now for capacitor, what happens for purely capacitive circuit? See here, we all know Q equals to CV, I equals to dq dt. So V equals to what? V is voltage across the capacitor, which is equals to Vmax sin omega t. So Q equals to C Vmax sin omega t. So I equals to d dt of, substitute this Q, you will get this equation. Okay. Now, what is this omega c? See, this can be written as, this part can be written as Vmax divided by 1 by omega c. Isn't it? So this 1 by omega c is acting as resistor. So 1 by omega c, this term is the resistance offered by the capacitor, which is known as capacitive reactance. It is generally denoted by Xc. Okay, so Xc equals to 1 by omega c. Now see this cos omega t part, this cos omega t part can be written as sine of -90 minus this cos omega t part can be written as this sine of omega t plus 90 degree. So here phase angle is 0 degree. Here phase angle is plus 90 degree. Okay. So what can we conclude here? VC, which one is leading? Current is leading. So VC is lagging. So VC lags behind IC by 90 degree. That is why, see, VC, when VC is at 0 degree, current is at 90 degree. Okay. So when VC is at 90 degree, current is at 180 degree. So current started at this point. Clear? So when current starts, VC starts 90 degree later. So if this is current axis, then VC will be lagging behind the current by 90 degree, or conversely, current will lead by 90 degree. So this is the basic concept of AC through purely resistive, inductive, and capacitive circuit. The important conclusions are, let us go through next slide and let us summarize all these concepts. Okay. R is the resistance offered by resistor. Xc equals to 1 by omega c is capacitive reactance, that is resistance offered by capacitor, and XL equals to omega L is resistance offered by the inductor. For purely resistive, current and voltage are in same phase. For capacitive, current leads by 90 degree. For inductive, current lags by 90 degree. Okay. Now see, resistance is independent of frequency, but resistance offered by capacitor or inductor depends on omega or frequency. So as frequency varies, this XL or XC will vary. And here the concept of resonance will come. Now let us apply the concept which we acquired till now together to study RLC circuit. For RLC circuit, what will happen? Suppose current through this path is I. Now if this is I, let us move to previous slide. If current voltage across a capacitor will be lagging behind current, so VC 90 degree behind current for capacitor. So voltage across capacitor, let us assume that is VC. VC will lag behind by 90 degree, whereas VL leads by 90 degree VL leads by 90 degree and VR will be in same phase with current. Okay, this is the important concept which we acquired. So if we have RLC series circuit, then the phasor diagram will be looking like this. I will be in this direction, VR will be in same direction, this will be lagging by 90 degree, VR will be leading by 90 degree. Now, what is voltage across capacitor? If Imax current is flowing through this path, then what is voltage? Voltage is current into resistance. So resistance offered by a capacitor is Xc. So voltage across capacitor will be Imax Xc. Voltage across inductor will be Imax XL. Voltage across resistor will be Imax R. Now, this should be the axis of VR. So VR equals to what? Voltage across resistor, which is Imax R. VL is Imax XL and this is Imax XL. So from this, what we concluded, we have got this phasor diagram. Clear? Now from this phasor diagram we already studied. From this phasor diagram, what can we write? See, this is, suppose you have reference axis. Suppose this magnitude is 10. This magnitude is 8. So this is in negative direction. This is reference axis, 0 axis or x axis. Now, what should be resultant? Resultant should be, this is x axis. Resultant should be 10 minus 8, that is 2. 10 is positive, 8 is negative, so resultant will be 10 minus 8, that is 2, positive. As it is positive, so it will be in upward direction. So if one is in upward direction, another vector is in downward direction, then resultant will be difference between these two, where the resultant will have the direction of the greater one. So as 10 is greater, so resultant will be in upward direction. Based on that fact, if we assume XL greater than XC, so resultant will be in the direction of XL. So this is the resultant. Resultant of which, what? XL and XC. So XL minus XC is equals to this. So this pink vector shows XL minus XC. Okay. Now, so from this we can write this, draw this. Now from this we can get this one. See, now XL and XC will not be existing because we have got the resultant. So resultant will be here, which is XL minus XC. So this is XL minus XC. This is I max R. So what is resultant of these two? This black shows the resultant of these two. Okay. From this we can draw this one. This part can be drawn this side. So green shows I max R, which is this one. This pink shows I max into XL minus XC, which is actually this part. And this black shows resultant of these two, that is I max into Z. Okay. So what is Z? Z is known as impedance of the circuit. We'll come it to later. So you have got up to this. Now, see, this part we have already obtained. Now see, in each side there is I max. So if we divide each side of this triangle by I max, what will we get? The green will become R only, the pink will become XL minus XC, and the black will become Z. This is known as impedance triangle. R is resistance, XL minus XC is known as total reactance. Some inductive reactance part and some capacitive reactance part will be cancelled. The resultant will be XL minus XC. And Z is known as impedance, which is resultant of R and XL minus XC. Okay. So from this impedance triangle, we can write this one, this equation. Z equals to under root R square plus XL minus XC whole square. What is tan phi? This is phi. So tan phi equals to height by base, that is XL minus XC by R. And an important point is this, I max equals to Z by E max by Z. Okay. Now, Now see, now here comes the concept of resonance. As I said, once we understand the basic concept of series RLC circuit, how current and voltage are related, what's the phase angle between voltage and current for purely resistive, purely inductive, purely capacitive circuit. Once all those discussed, it is much easier for us to study this resonance part. So what is resonance? As we understood that XL equals to XC, as we understood that XL equals to omega L and X equals to 1 by omega C. So if omega is varying, then XL and XC will vary. So the important point here is XL or XC will vary if omega varies. That is, with variation in frequency, XL, XC varies. Now, in this impedance triangle, or from this equation of impedance, what can we say? Z equals to under root R square plus XL minus XC square. So if this term becomes zero, then what will happen? If this term becomes zero, then Z will become equals to R. Okay. So Z equals to R if XL minus XC becomes 0. That means if we can make one such arrangement that XL and XC becomes equal, then this XL minus XC term will become 0 and Z will become equals to R. So the lowest minimum value of XL minus XC could be 0. Otherwise, this XL minus XC whole square will always be positive term. So if XL minus XC has some value, then Z will no more be the maximum. So in order to make Z will no more be minimum. So in order to make Z minimum, this XL minus XC has to be 0. So the concept of resonance comes here. A circuit is said to be at resonance if the total reactance of the network is 0. That is, if XL becomes equals to becomes XC. If these two reactances become equal, then there will be no effect of this reactive part, and the circuit will be said to be at resonance. So what can we do? We can vary frequency of the supply. By varying supply frequency, XL and XC will vary. So when supply frequency is being varying, XL and XC will be changing. So at a certain frequency, XL and XC will become equal. When these two becomes equal, XL is in upward direction, if you remember, XC is in downward direction. So when these two becomes equal, this entire effect of this reactive part will no more be there in the circuit. Okay, and the circuit will behave as purely resistive circuit. And in that case, as inductive as there is no reactance part, so this part will be 0. Z will become equals to R. So Z will become minimum, or impedance will become minimum. As I is equals to E by Z. So if Z becomes minimum, I will become maximum. So resonance, in case of resonance, current is huge. Okay. So a circuit is said to be at resonance if inductive reactance is equal to capacitive reactance. When inductive reactance and capacitive reactances are equal, see, this is equals to VL, voltage across inductor. This is equals to VC, voltage across capacitor. Okay. Now, if XL and XC are equal, then VL and VC will be equal. So at resonance, VL and VC will be equal. Okay. Now the circuit behaves as purely resistive circuit. When XL and XC are equal, the XL part will cancel XC part. So net reactance effect, the effect of this inductance and capacitance will no more be there. So if this part is having no effect, then the circuit is having only resistance. So that circuit will behave as purely resistive circuit. If the circuit is behaving as purely resistive circuit, what will happen? For purely resistive circuit, voltage and current are in same phase. When voltage and current are in same phase, that implies phase angle is 0 degree. So if phase angle is 0, power factor cos of 0 degree is 1. Again, we can write power factor equals to R by Z. Power factor can be written by this formula as well. Now at resonance, Z equals to what? XL minus X is 0. So at resonance, Z equals to R. So power factor will be R by R, that is 1. So you can prove it anyway. At resonance, Z is become only resistance. There is no inductive reactance or capacitive reactance part. So at resonance, impedance is minimum, hence current will be maximum. So this is the concept of resonance, in which we can vary the frequency of supply so that XL and XC, that is inductive reactance and capacitive reactance, varies. The main aim of at resonance is to cancel the reactance part from the circuit out, so that circuit becomes purely resistive, voltage and current becomes in phase, current is maximum, impedance is minimum. So this is the condition at resonance. So in today's class, what we discussed about the basic concept of series RLC circuit. We discussed about how voltage and current are related for purely resistive, purely inductive, purely capacitive circuits. How voltage current beam are related for series RLC circuit, and thereby we have discussed the concept of resonance of series RLC circuit. So as of now, today I'm ending up here. We'll be meeting in next class with the continuation of this resonant part, series resonant part. So thank you all.